Hi everybody, this is Nick Bosco, and thanks for tuning in to my UFC Fight Night 89 preview. UFC Fight Night 89 will be taking place in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It'll be headlined by Rory McDonald versus Stephen the Wonderboy Thompson, and co-headlined by Donald the Cowboy Cerrone versus Patrick Cote. I'm going to be breaking down the main card for you tonight, starting with the first fight, Valerie Letourneau versus Joanne Calderwood. This matchup is going to be at a catch weight of 125 pounds. There are reports coming out this week how difficult the weight cut had been for Letourneau, getting down to 115. So this time she will be fighting at 125, which is much easier for her to make. Coming off of her fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, which was a very impressive fight for Valerie. She stood her own with the champ. Joanna is amazing. She's probably one of the best female fighters out there. And Valerie, she took some damage, but she held her own, and she went the distance with her, which is something to say. Joanne Calderwood is coming off of a win over Courtney Casey at UFC Fight Night Glasgow. That was a great night for her. She was a hometown favorite. She really needed to win after her previous loss. She also earned Fight of the Night bonus that night. She's going to be looking for string a couple wins together to move herself back up in the rankings. She's currently ranked 12th, and if she gets a win tomorrow night over Letourneau, who's ranked 5th, it'll really bump her up into getting some tougher opponents and some more recognizable names. The next fight of the night is Olivier Aubin-Mercier versus Thibaut Gouti. These guys probably not as well known as the rest of the main card, but they're gonna scrap. They're scrappers. They're for sure. Mercier, I'll call him OAM because it's hard. His name is hard to say. OAM. He's a Canadian. He trains at a TriStar gym, most well known for Georges St. Pierre. He's going to be the home crowd favorite for sure. Yeah, they're going to be looking for him to capitalize on this and get a win in a submission or end the fight early somehow. His nickname is the Quebec Kid, so he's definitely looking to prove himself in front of the home crowd. Gouti is coming off a loss himself, his first loss ever. He's 11-1. He's a French fighter. He hasn't faced many big names. This is his first time on the main card, so he's definitely looking to prove himself and see what he can do. For the third fight of the night, we have Steve Bosse versus Sean O'Connell. This is a light heavyweight matchup of two very big boys. Steve Bosse is also a Canadian who also trains at a TriStar. Looks like there's quite a few TriStar athletes on this card. He's 13-2. Every single one of his wins, except for one, by KO. This guy has some strength in his hands for sure. His last win over James Tahuna knocked him out in the first minute of the first round. Stone cold with the nice left. That guy is crazy. He's got some power. He's going to be looking to end this fight early too against Sean O'Connell. Sean O'Connell is another guy who knows how to end a fight early. He has power in his hands. He's not afraid to take a punch. He's had some trouble since coming to the UFC. He's lost 3 out of his last 5 since joining the UFC. So he's going to be possibly fighting to stay in the UFC. He needs a win here. That brings us to the co-main event of the evening. We have Cowboy Cerrone versus Patrick Cote. Cote is going to be looking for a win. He's hometown favorite. He was coach of the Canada team in the Ultimate Fighter Nations, Canada versus Australia. He's looking to rise in the rankings. He's getting up there in age. He's going to be looking to reach it for a title fight while he still can. Cowboy Cerrone, on the other hand, is moving up a weight class. This will be his first time at welterweight. Second time at welterweight. The size difference may come into play. Cote is obviously going to be much larger than Cowboy, but what he lacks in size, he definitely can make up on the ground. Cowboy Cerrone has 3 submission wins in his last 10 fights, I would say, and Cote has had 1 submission win in his entire career. So if it comes down to the ground, it will go to Cowboy. If it stays standing, it might be a battle of just who's got it tonight, really. These guys, it could go either way. I think right now Cowboy is a favorite in, like, betting wise, but I think Cote could end this fight if he wanted to. If it goes the distance, it may come to a split. These guys, you never know. As for the main event, it's a much anticipated matchup between these two. Rory McDonald, after his battle with Robbie Lawler, the insane fight, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Bloody, disgusting. The guy is a killer. He doesn't back down for anything. He's a brawler. He will go until he cannot move anymore. As for Wonder Boy, he's got skills. The boy can kick. He can do whatever it takes to win a fight. Depending on where this fight goes, if it stays standing, I'll have to give it to Thompson. I really don't know if it's going to go to the ground at all. These guys are going to be swinging it out on the feet. Look for a brawl. It might go to the later rounds. I think this fight will be won in the championship rounds. It's a 5-round fight. I think I'm actually leaning towards Stephen Thompson. I think he's on a roll. I think he's like a prodigy in the sport. He's gonna be set up for a title fight very soon, I think. Not that I'm putting down Rory McDonald. He definitely is. He's something else. He's gonna be back. I'm not sure if he's gonna win this fight. I mean, he could. I could go either way, but I don't see him winning. I do see him coming back, working his way back up to a title fight eventually. Maybe these two will meet one day in a title fight. But for this fight, I don't see it happening. That's it for my UFC Ottawa breakdown and preview. Thank you guys so much. Join me after the fight if you want, and I'll give you a rundown. We'll see if I was right or we'll see if I was wrong. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Remember to follow me on Twitter at NickBoz, NIKBOS. Thanks.